Today we'll be talking all about liquid fertilizers for your lawn, why I think they are super important and going to give you an awesome, healthy lawn. I'm going to go in depth and just explain to you guys why I think they're great to use all year round. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. Let's talk about why I think liquid fertilizers are so important. I actually prefer them nowadays as opposed to granular fertilizers because you can get so much out in them and there's so many different types of liquid fertilizers that are going to hit certain target areas of your lawn that need a bit of help. So let's talk about some examples. The main reason I'm a huge fan of liquid fertilizers, especially this time of year over granular fertilizers, is because they are taken up by the foliage. So the foliar application and they're taken up by the foliage instead of the roots, which is what your granular products are mostly going to do. You water them in and they get taken up by the roots. Now soil temps are cold, so our roots of our lawn are going to be cold as well. So they're not going to be able to take up the nutrients properly and get as much out of that with our granular fertilizers. So liquid fertilizers are the go for this time of year, and definitely need to be looking at liquid fertilizers that have a bit of potassium and a bit of phosphorus in them as well. So let's first talk about phosphorus. So phosphorus is really good for root development. So if you've got a new lawn, they've recently laid with turf, or you've seeded recently, really good at helping establish a new lawn. Also going to help your lawn photosynthesize a little bit better, which is good for winter time because it's going to catch more of that sunlight. And on top of that, it's also going to help with our tolerance to disease, fungus, and heat as well, and even frost on top of that. So it's pretty important to have some phosphorus in your lawn all year round, but winter time as well. It's great to get some phosphorus in your liquid ferts to help with getting this thing nice and healthy. Now potassium is going to be similar. A great benefit with potassium though, it's really going to help with our plant health and strength and the vigor of the plant as well. So it's going to make your plant look a lot healthier, if that makes sense. Also helps with photosynthesis on top of that, and really good just for this time of year for disease resistance on top of that as well. Just going to harden up your lawn because it's going to strengthen up the actual plant itself. Now when it comes to applying liquid fertilizers, there's quite a few different ways to do it. Probably the easiest way to do it is going to be with a knapsack or a hand sprayer. I've got some videos that go quite in depth on how to use knapsacks, which I'll put in the description for you guys to have a look at. But you really want to make sure you apply it with some water and spray it over your lawn with a knapsack. Now we'll do that in a minute with my spray tank and I'll show you guys how that works, but we want to make sure with these liquid fertilizers that we put them out when the lawn isn't stressed, and if it is stressed, just make sure you give it a water the night before. Try to apply in two directions just so you don't miss any spots, and you do not need to water in most liquid fertilizers unless it states on the label this is for the soil. But for this time of year especially, we want to be looking at foliar feeds, just because, as I said again, it'll take it up so much easier through the leaf and not through the root system. Remember too, because it's taking it up through the leaf and not through the roots like it would with a granular product, we're going to find that we're not going to have issues with leaching, which means that the nutrients aren't going to drop below those roots because they've already been taken up in the first 4 hours. If we've got heavy storms, the product's not going to be washed away, and we're just going to get great results within 24 hours most of the time, especially for green ups with something like liquid iron. So today we're putting out my lawn tips mix, which I've talked to you guys about. I'm going to be using this all winter long because it has that a little bit of nitrogen in there, but not too much, because we don't really want too much this time of year. Our potassium and our phosphorus as well. So it's really going to help strengthen up this plant for this time of year. So you guys have seen me use Vitalize in the past. The Vitalize I used to actually help this recover from that stress that we got from that roller. Really good to help areas with some quicker recovery. Especially with that balanced P and K in there. And it's also got some beneficial fungi in there as well, with some microbes and a couple of other things, which are really going to help just store nutrients in our root system and also help nutrients that are locked up in the soil be available to the plant as well. So you're actually getting a little bit more out of your fertilizer because of that. It's called VM3 technology that's in there, which is basically just a fungi that helps uptake some nutrients from your soil and get them into your root system along as well with our microbes on top of that. So really beneficial products. Our roots, which is going to help with our root development, has got a pretty balanced NPK as well, which is going to be great. And then the brilliance is what's going to help us give some color with some iron there. That iron that's in there is actually non-burning, so it's not going to burn your lawn. Really safe product there on top of that, and it's going to give it a nice green up on top of that. as well. And if you wanted to add some extra nitrogen in there for summertime, or you want to push some more growth in general, I like to add my enhanced product as well, which has got a little bit of extra iron in there as well to give it just that little bit more of a push and a darker green up. Now, a lot of you guys know that a few years ago I actually changed my product line to these products that I'm currently using, and the main reason for that is because of all the extra included benefits in there with those microbes and the fungi. We've also got our Humix and our Fulvix with that Vitalize as well, so that's actually all included in that product. So you're going to get quite a lot in these liquids, and they're going to go a long way as well. Because of the included microbes and fungi, you're going to get quite a lot more longevity out of your liquid products. So you're probably going to get anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, which is great. So you only need to apply these products monthly. I'm doing it every fortnight at the moment just because I'm trying to establish this green, and we had next to no organics in the sand here. But if you've got a lawn that's clay, you're rich with nutrients, you're really only going to have to do it monthly. You can apply something like liquid iron every 1 to 2 weeks if you want, if you just want to keep your lawn really, really green, because the liquid iron tends to last anywhere from 7 to 12 days. It really just depends on your weather, how much rain you get, and how quickly it breaks down. So with these products here, we need to mix them up with some water. So per 100 square meters, I like to usually put out about 4 liters of water, and that'll get me over my area twice. So each product, to make it simple, I put everything out at 200 ml per 100 square meters. Now, if you don't know your lawn size, you can actually jump onto Google Maps and pin out the size of your lawn, and it will tell you how many square meters you have. So really a simple way to do it, and then you can figure out how much product you need after that. So 200 ml of each product per 100 square meters, all fine to mix up together, not going to be a problem. We try and put all of our water in first, and then we put our product in on top of that, just so we don't get bubbles and stuff. Now, obviously you do not need a sprayer like this. You can just use a knapsack or a hand sprayer. I use a knapsack on my green for the first 2 months that I had it, and then the guys at BA Pumps and Sprays reached out and sent me this thing. But you can definitely use a knapsack or a hand sprayer. It's not going to be a problem at all. Once I've finished spraying as well, I'll answer some frequently asked questions for you guys, because I get a lot of them in the inbox. So some of the most frequently asked questions are, main one is it safe around pets? Yes, it is. Just make sure your pets don't go in the area until it dries out. So within 20 minutes, you're going to be fine with products like this. Even with herbicides and that, as long as it dries out, you're not going to have a problem. Another common one is, can you over apply these products? Yes, 100% you can over apply these products. If you put out way above recommended rate, you got potential of burning the area or just wasting product. So make sure you always stick to the application rates. Make sure you put the right amount of water with it, at least 4 liters of water per 100 square meters if you're doing a liquid fertilizer application. Now, I do get the question about those hose-in sprayers quite a lot. There's the Hortex ones or the HoseLink ones, a couple of different brands out there. I know in the States they've got like those Chapin ones or something. Anyway, can you apply liquid fertilizers with those sprayers? 100% you can. It's just a little bit harder to dial in and get it precise. I always found they weren't perfect at putting out the right amount of fertilizer to the water, and sometimes it puts way too much water out and dilutes your product as well. But you can definitely do it. I'd personally just prefer to use a knapsack, because you're going to get a more even application. You know exactly where you've gone, you know how much water you put out and how much product you put out to each area. Now lastly, people generally will ask me how long it takes for the products to kick in. Now you'll see results within the first 24 hours, especially with liquid iron. Like, you'll see the lawn just start to change colour and look a little bit different. But say if you're trying to get a lawn to repair or come back, it might not be 1 application, it might be 2 applications, it might be 3 applications until you start seeing things fix up and repair. For example, these bare spots that I've got here that I've plugged out, I'm pushing product on them and they've definitely crept in, but I'd say, because of the time of year it is too, it's probably going to take a month, if not 2 months, for those to completely fill in, or it might not be till spring. Depends on what type of winter we get and the time of year it is. So it also is going to depend on the time of year. Obviously, the warmer temps, your liquid fertilizers are going to work a little bit quicker, and then this time of year, it's going to take a little bit longer. You might have noticed I didn't do the ryegrass as well. Now, this is a cool little example. The green is a lot more sand, and the surrounds or the ryegrass actually has some clay in there. Clay and a little bit of topsoil and stuff. Now, this holds nutrients so much better because it was full of rich nutrients, because it's the existing soil from this property. It used to be actually a horse paddock, so there's heaps of horse turds in here. But the sand itself was quite lacking in nutrients, and it leaches out product a lot quicker at the moment because we haven't got that organic matter built up in there. We haven't even got a thatch layer at the moment, so there's no nutrients really being held in there. So that's another reason why I'm going foliar sprays at the moment as well, is because we've got such a sand base there. So trying to get as much in there as we can, whereas on the surrounds here, liquids, they'll stick in here for a lot longer, and even granular products will stick in here a lot longer as well. So definitely still use granulars if you throughout the season. I just prefer liquids because they're quicker to get out, and I apply them more often as well, whereas I only use slow release and controlled release granular fertilizers, which I put out about every 3 months. So not many times during the season, unless I'm trying to get some extra results with some different products in there, like some gypsum or something along those lines. But hopefully you guys learned something today. Let me know in the comments if you had any other questions. Chuck a like there if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys very soon.